and you look to embrace your change in the new you on the inside. I ain't even talking about the outside yet. This is just the inside. When you go to real you think differently about yourself. You don't have to put yourself down anymore. You don't have to answer to who they called you to be, but yet have your faith in God. And, see that there are new things waiting for you. There are, these women these days are really, how can I say it? This generation of women, we really have got to get our eyes back on God. Because unless we let God lead, Jesus, unless we let him open us up, we ain't going to see no further than a man. We will not see no further than a man or our appearances. So you got to be in the Spirit and receive the Spirit of the Lord so that you can be able to see these new possibilities. Women now sitting on visions, not operating in their vision because they have limited vision. But with God, you have unlimited opportunity, and all things are possible through and by him. But with man, it's not possible. So it has to go back to your spiritual self. That's where your strength is going to come from, having faith in God. Another reason why you should be open to change, you get to do things that you've never done before. You get to meet people that you've never met before. When my life changed, I started meeting people that I never thought I'd meet. You know what? When I would drink, I had music that I listened to all the time, oldies, blues, all that good stuff. Sir Charles Jones and Betty Wright. Y'all look, I ain't too good to admit my life. Betty Wright, Betty Swan. It was so many good artists that we would listen to when we'd be sitting here just drinking and stuff. And never in a million years would I have thought that I got opportunity to work with the very same artists that I would sit here when I was drunk and screaming out their songs and crying drunk tears and instead of complaining about my problems. Never in a million years did I think that I would be in contact with them. But when you press toward the prize and you keep your eyes on God and you get to know more and more Jesus, you get intimate with him. It makes a difference. You get to see and do things that you have never done before, the things that have never even entered your heart nor your mind, the things that even your family and friends could not see on you because they were busy seeing the old you. They didn't know that God had something new for you. They didn't know that that light was going to shine down upon you and knock you into a circumstance or a situation that caused you to say, Lord, I'm willing to change, and this time I'm serious about my change. This time I'm accepting you into my life, my heart, so that wherever you lead, I will follow. And that's what I did. I followed wherever God wanted me to go, and I ended up meeting just about everybody that I was like admiring their work. Never would have thought that I would be working with them to this day. Okay, so you get to meet the new people and do things that you've never done before. The next thing is you get to find out who you really are. You know, you can hide from people all day long who you really are, but you can't hide that from God. You can't hide it from God. So whenever the change happens, it's for a reason. It's to expose the things that are trying to hold you back. It's to expose who you really are. You may be a bad person right now, but once God begins to open and shine that light on you and expose those things, you'll be surprised. When I looked in the mirror, y'all, let me get a sip here. My throat getting dry. Okay, when I looked in the mirror at myself, when I realized my change, actually this was about 2 years later. I looked in the mirror. I done got closer to God and Jesus now, and I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to stay focused. I've got my prayer life going. I'm into my worship, my praise and worship. I'm studying my word. So now I'm learning so much about what God can do and how he can bring this change that I go to the mirror and I look and I say, oh, my God, girl, I can't believe that was you. I can't believe that was you. I can't believe that was you that used to hold the guns on people's heads. The girl that used to sell drugs and alcohol. I can't believe that was you. And that's how God will have you. He'll have you look at yourself and really talk to yourself. You will know who you are because you can't change anything that you don't know nothing about or anything that you're not willing to learn about. So during your transition and your process, you're going to learn about who you are. You're going to learn about the things that you can't handle, the things that you just have to say, Lord, this is yours. There was times during my transition when my children didn't understand what I was going through, and I couldn't be up under them because they didn't understand what I was going through. So what would end up happening is we would end up fussing among each other. And I know I didn't. One thing I do know, I don't like to fuss with my children. But it got to that point where God was exposing who I was through them. They would say, Mama, you negative. You negative. You don't never see the good in anything. So they were telling me who I was. And finally I was in a position to listen to what they were saying. I was in that position. I said, oh, my God, I did just do that. I did just say that. I was that. So I found out that I was a negative person, that every time somebody would come to me with something good, and I don't care how big they were smiling, how happy they was, I would find a way to bring them down because I wasn't happy. And this was even during my transition. I had to go through that process of changing, of learning how to stop being negative and to be happy for others. I didn't know how to be happy for others because guess what? Nobody was happy for me. So I felt like, why do they deserve me to be happy for them? I ain't seen nothing they done for me. That was the type of nasty attitude I had back then. But during the transition, the process, God changed all that. I learned how to be genuinely, not a fake happiness, but I learned how to love people for real. Because just like it said, because Jesus first loved me. And if I hadn't experienced that love, I would still be negative. It wasn't the people that changed me. It was the love of Jesus. It was the love of Jesus. I will tell y'all that it was. So during your transition, you're going to learn, once you begin to change, you're going to learn all these things that you can't handle. It's going to help you to figure out a better path. It's going to get hard and it's going to get heavy at times. And you're going to be like, I'm going to quit this. I'm done with this. I ain't talking to them no more. I ain't working over here no more. I can't talk to him no more. He don't hear me. I'm done with relationships. I'm done. Don't nobody talk to me. Don't nobody call me. You know, you're going to go through all that big drama phase. You're going to go through that. And you'll probably go through it again in life. Because that's what life is. Life is based on trials, made of trials and tribulations, and you learning how to figure out which path is better for you to take during those trials and tribulations. So during that process of change, it's going to help you to figure out a better way of doing things. I learned a better way of doing things. I stopped cussing people out, and I started talking to people. You know, I found out that people can't hear you when you yelling at them. People don't understand what you're talking about when you yelling and you cussing and you fussing them out. They don't understand that. But what they do understand whenever you're doing that is they understand that's fight mode. And then they get into fight mode. So you throwing your stuff off on somebody else, causing somebody else to have bad days. So you're going to learn how to figure out a better way of doing things, a better path to do things. If you got goals set right now for yourself, and I'm talking about for yourself, I'm not talking about your business, this is for yourself. If you have goals that are set for yourself that you want to try to do, like I'm starting my weight loss thing back again. Well, not necessarily weight loss, but get my mobility back, to strengthen up. And there's things that I'm going to have to deal with that I haven't had to deal with in the last year. I started back drinking sodas, and I'm mad at myself for that. And every time I drank a soda, I felt depressed and guilty about it because I had been over 15, 16 years. No, it's longer than that. Almost 20 years without drinking sodas. But what ended up happening, every time my sugar levels were falling, I would have to get something quick, and it would be a soda. So I got mad with myself about that. So, see, I'm still in transition. But I'm not going to allow myself to be so mad that I'm not productive, that I can't bear good fruit. So transition helps you to figure out a better path. I know the path that I have to take now. I have to be real with myself. Girl, you can't drink them sodas like that. Okay, and the next thing is the possibilities. Once you begin to change and you acknowledge your change, you embrace your change, there are unlimited possibilities. Unlimited. There's no reason that you can't reach out for something and that you don't have it. It may not come on your timing, but if it's in God's will for you to have it, you will have it. There are just some things you just got to believe God on. Even if you don't see nothing working for you in your life, you just got to continue to believe God on it. And, write out those possibilities. What are your possibilities now? What things do you desire in life for yourself? I'm not talking about your business. I'm talking about your personal self. I'm not talking about church folk, anything like that. I'm talking about for you. What is Coco desiring? What are you desiring for your life? What possibilities do you have right now? In the position or whatever circumstance you're in, what possibilities do you see right now? I see a lot of stuff. I see a lot of stuff for my life. And I see that I'm not giving up, and I'm not going to feel guilty. Even when I mess up, I'm not going to feel guilty. Because you know what? Let me tell you something. We fall down, but we can get back up. If Apostle Paul had not fell down, well, I'm going to say Saul right there. If Saul had not fell down, he wouldn't have became new. He wouldn't have became Apostle Paul if he had not fell down, been knocked down off that horse. So we got to understand that there's going to be some moments in our life when we are going to disappoint ourselves, and it's okay to feel it. It's okay to feel the frustration and stuff, but don't stay there. Be real with yourself, but don't stay there in that position. Whenever you feel yourself that you're messing up like that, that means that you need to go back and you need to die to yourself. That means you need to cut your flesh off. You need to cut it down. I've had to do it, and that's just something we got to do daily. It's something we got to do daily because there's so much stuff going on in our heads and around us. We have to do that daily for our sake, for our spiritual sake, for our peace and joy. Okay? So does anybody have any questions or comments so far? Any questions or comments so far?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I can relate to what you were saying about when you start making changes, how you look differently. I noticed that myself, and I spoke with a friend recently, and she told me that she realized that I am truly happy, that she hears it in my voice when she talks to me, and that she hears how much I'm at peace. So when you do make those changes, I think it's evident first to the people around you, and then you start to